I actually Game Sharked Leon into my party, so I have another way to play imported games on my PlayStation 2 just in case my swap magic breaks. Because there's a coder which you can use to use cheat codes, and I got the cheat codes and whatnot. I actually kind of messed up though one time because I didn't save beforehand, and cheat codes, you know, they're kind of weird. Like that one value that is changed stays changed for that time. Like when you boot a game through GameShark, that values change for the rest of the game. If you save it, then exit out, then go back in, the value is back to normal with the game, even if the save data doesn't. It's kind of that's my interpretation of it. Because if I tried to move Leon, I could, but he was still in that 10th spot. Yeah, I guess the programmers, they probably figured that people would try to Game Shark Leon in, so they probably left that slot in. Or I don't know. I kind of like that though. But anyway, that kind of got my nerves, and so that kept me from playing the game. But what I did do finally is like changed up, you know, the codes, because I figured out the what's the word? The pattern that they were going with, and I was able to take out the other Leon, and it all worked. And since I did the file corruption thing, since that happened, I was able to try the GameShark code again without messing up this time. So if you're actually going for a permanent change in a game file, do yourself a favor and save right after you do the code, and then boot the game up again regularly without using GameShark, because you might mess something up if you're not careful. Even if you want to try it out first to see what it does, save it on another file, or just don't save it. But, yeah. No, that's my thing. And, Kong Man, his name was changed to Kong, which that's what I call him. But as far as, Carol or Carl goes, I call him Johnny just because there's already a Carol in the Tales series. I don't know, I might be mispronouncing something. It might be Carl, I'm not really sure. They also alternated the spelling of some characters and whatnot. They outright changed Woodrow to Gar, which, you know, a lot of Tales fans these days still call him Gar, but some of them also call him Woodrow. I call him Gar, because, you know, I'm used to that at this point. I mean, I don't really know why they renamed him in the first place, and Gar is kind of a silly name, but, you know, Gar's cool. You know. As far as the gameplay of the original, it's closer to the Tales series than Fantasia was, but you still could only do like one melee attack, like just attack once. And magic you had to go into a menu to use, and as usual, Tiger Blade and whatnot spammable. And also a lot of the arts were misnamed, like Demon Fang was called Missile Sword. Dragon Sword was called Dragon Blade or Dragon Attack or something. Marion was Demon Attack, obviously. Tiger Blade stayed the same, interestingly. Swallow Dance was Kick Attack, which honestly I prefer. You know, I didn't really care that much. I mean, you know, we all knew what it was. Back then, people probably didn't think much about it, but, you know. Nowadays, Tales of Destiny is pretty hard to get a hold of, at least a good copy of it. My copy of the original actually broke. I still have it somewhere, I think, but it you know, it kind of snapped in half. I didn't break it intentionally, it just kind of broke. I noticed it when I was playing the intro stage again, because there was apparently a Leon glitch I heard about, but it kept messing up. You know. Now that I'm looking at this, I feel like some of the cutscenes might be reordered, or I don't remember. It's been a while since I've played through this game. I do recommend playing both versions. I feel like at this point the director's cut version is a little more popular. And I guess that makes, I mean, you can import your save data if you've played the original, but for some reason you either lost a copy or you never finished it. Or if you just want to play the Leon mode, which, you know, I Game Sharked Leon into my party, so, because I wanted to friggin' play as him. I'm aware that in the bonus dungeon you can use him anyway, and that's really the only mode I play whenever I play the game, but still. Plus, I'm just going, you know, based on, you know, the fact that, you know, the story wasn't changed, because I used a FAQ of the PlayStation 1 version of Tales of Destiny, and I was able to get through it. So clearly, they didn't change too much, in my opinion. Not to kind of, I don't want to start anything, but, you know, that's just my opinion. I'm going to have to warn you guys, though, in probably both the original and in this version, or, well, yeah, in the original definitely, and definitely in this, well, definitely in this version, there are, there's going to be scenes that appear to be similar, but they actually do change a little bit. This almost looks like a flashback about, like, Diecroft and whatnot. I remember when, yeah, this is the scene I'm talking about, which is sort of like a replay of one of the scenes from the opening. But, you know, I enjoyed. I remember when I heard about the remake, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And I decided to get, I remember I was like, should I get the remake or not? And then, of course, I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm just going to get the remake. So I already had the original at that point. I still need to finish the original. I have decided, though, that in the original, I will not Game Shark Leon into my party. I'm just going to use Stan. You know. You know. Both versions, I think, are pretty fun. Though if you're looking for, like, an updated version of Destiny, I'd go with, like, the remake or probably the director's cut. If you can get a hold of, like, the limited edition version of it, then that's probably worth picking up. One thing I do like about the remake is that there's no TP. Instead, you've got the counter meter, the combo meter thing, so you can kind of just combo your way. So the game kind of goes back to its fighting game roots, kind of, sort of, maybe, a little bit, when you think about it. I feel like Tales of Destiny was the big game that kind of set the Tales series into a franchise. Like, like, Fantasia, we're going to get to at some point, but, and I'll explain at that point. I'll use that as some, like, sort of segue, or not really segue, but, you know, something. But, I feel like Tales of Destiny was the first Tales game to be made when it was, like, became, like, when the Tales series became a franchise. Because beforehand, it was just the first Tales game, I'm just going to go ahead and say, the first Tales game was an adaptation of a novel, an unpublished novel. And then it became this franchise. So, you know. And the Tales of Destiny, you know, a lot of you know, at this point, the Tales series, you know, almost been divided into two teams. I mean, I know right now, you know, the Tales series, you know, Tales Studios has been turned into Namco Studios, but we have Team Symphonia and Team Destiny. So this is like when this game first came out in 1990 in Japan in 1997 and in America in 1998. Early signs of what a Team Symphonia game was and what a Team Destiny game was began to surface. I mean, you know, Team Symphonia game, usually Kosuke Fujishima. Back then, a some sort of sequel to Fantasia or Symphonia, or really Fantasia. But, you know, after Abyss came out, you know, that kind of changed, which I prefer. Then, you know, Destiny, usually Mitsumi Inomata. A different kind of gameplay style, you know. Is a little more like JRPG-ish in my opinion, because I feel like JRPGs, you know, they kind of go for a certain kind of gameplay. They usually have some sort of mechanic, even if they're doing a turn-based thing. While Symphonia games, I look at as being more, I don't know, traditional, kind of just your traditional RPG. I don't really know. It's just kind of confusing. I don't know. I'm just kind of talking at this point. We're getting close to being done a little bit, you know. I really hope you guys are enjoying these videos, because I do like talking about the Tales series. At this point, I'd probably say that it's my favorite video game series next to Dragon Ball, even if you could consider Dragon Ball a video game franchise. But I really like the Tales series, and, you know, I import them mainly because, you know, certain games I know are not going to come out in English, you know, no matter how much we want them. Like, it really has to, like, the popularity of the Tales series would have to go up, like, to the point of Japan where each game, like, gets, like, basically, like, an 8 or 9 out of 10. Because that's basically what each Tales game gets as far as the Japanese ratings go. But back to Destiny. I got it after Eternia, and you know, I enjoy it. You know, it was kind of, I saw it kind of let down because I just came off of Eternia, but at the same time I had to recognize that this was only the second Tales game. Like, it wasn't like, you know, the third or the fourth or something, and like we had just got it late. I mean, this was the second Tales game. Like, the first Tales game to come out in English, you know, was the second Tales game ever made, so, you know, you can't really judge it too much. I mean, we've got the remake now, which, you know, at this point, I think they're kind of done with that. I feel like they kind of wanted to remake it just to kind of keep it up to par. Because, I mean, even though the original was a good game, it was kind of lacking in terms of the latest Tales mechanics. So I feel like they kind of had to fix it up to make everything, you know, as good as they can. But yeah, that's actually all the time I've got, so thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time.